despite and because. I cannot be what you have lost, and you may not be what I never had. But still I long just to hold your hand, just to walk beside you on the less walked path. Because walking beside you, I am in my place. And dancing beside you, I can truly dance. Despite and because of your depth and dark, despite and because of your shameless voice, despite and because of your heartbreak face. When you are dreaming, you are just so beautiful that I want to die since I may not touch. When you dance, it's as if you gather the music into yourself, into the softness of your diaphragm and belly, and smear it through your body along the long cords of you, tendons, neurons, axons, veins, spine, lungs, bowels, hips, and extrude it down the pipes of your lean limbs. When you dance, you keep your arms straight by your sides, point and wag and jerk your hands, quiver your body like a zephyred leaf, and stare at your feet, which you shuffle. When you dance, it's as if your legs and arms and eyes are pulled toward ground by the music's grand unified force. In all my life, you're the only one I've ever met who dances like that.
What the music says. Before it is light when you've dressed and gone into the stable, the animals are lying there on beech leaves, and your tiredness like a child you have dragged from its sleep. And through the window you see the span of stars into whose well we are thrown at birth like salt into water. Dissolving there like the clear strike of a bell through air, over valleys, separated and yet close as the young eye is to air, the soft sound a hand makes moving through the air and forming the loving rug of comfort. The dream of waves on the lake, this memory of sound is as real as sound itself. We, moving all the time with knowledge, our inner ear, and a vast range for sound based only on a handful of notes. So before it is light, the not quite light evokes the possibility of hope moving as it does out of darkness, out of the home of death, out of the area where infinite numbers reign supreme. Before it is light, a young child moving jerkily across a landscape, at first a move and then stillness. He sees his breath become visible in the coldness of air that could take his breath away, and yet holds in his mind the knowledge of parents still sleeping in the warm breath of their room. Before it is light when you've dressed and gone into the stable, and I'm feeling foolish on a farm when the single cow has come down to the single bale with all her cowness and impatience. And I'm such a city person now with such a city softness. The animals are lying there waiting for your presence and what that means for them. Lying there on beech leaves and your tiredness like a child you have dragged from its sleep, and our sleep joining together again after a long time like the breath of a child. And through the window you see the span of stars, the notes, breath moves through the living pipe, out over the lazy tongue, the way tide moves in and out over estuary sand and snaking into the river seen high from above, our moment of peace. The span of stars into whose well we are thrown at birth like salt into water, dissolving and clouding, returning to those elements that first made life, before there was life, and how poetic, how romantic now to imagine another star with all those elements circling in the well, We give ourselves all our lives these lies, but only be bitter if we swallow them ourselves, like the taste of salt in water. That taste, like so many variations, I hear it now singing on the skin, in the sweat of our labour and our love. I hear that sound, and each sound, so many into the well, lost, and so much part of each other, so much unrecognised, whirling there into the well of stars before light.
Lay down your laptop, turn off your phone. Let's have no more text messages, no more emails, and no more goddamn Facebook. Let's touch. I said, let's touch. And I don't mean lint picking. I want to mess your hair and stroke your face and grab you. Let's turn out the city lights and let the dark be really dark, not this yellow half dark. Let's watch the Milky Way sprawl across the black in all its nuclear fusion mystery. Wear your best suit. See a sharp barber polish your extremities. I'll wear a black velvet dress tailored to my shape, a bow around my neck, bare feet and a diamond anklet, and I'll have my hair done sparing no expense. We'll steal a big stretch limo with leather seats, a black one, not a pimpy white one, or maybe a horse-drawn carriage. This time we drink all of the tequila or vodka or whatever you got. This is not broadband. I'll show you broadband. On the cold, warm leather in the back of the limo, among soft new grass at the foot of a gravestone, on damp sand in the black satin dark with the ocean sighing beside us, if that's what it takes to connect. This is called Under a Blood Red Sky, 2010. Work done for now. We go out, motley friends and associates. We have a cheap meal in a tacky restaurant with the sports channel on a huge screen above the table. Men 22, 23, lithe and powerful, risk their lives on bikes. We laugh about some bloke called Dave who lived with his rickety mother and loved a psychotic parrot. He called the parrot Chook. The parrot called him Mike. Water comes only in bottles. I say, what's the plan? I say, I'd like to sit on sofas and drink hot chocolate. But no one lives near the city. There's no one's house we can go back to. And I don't think they want to. We scatter in ones and twos, travel many kilometres, burn much fuel to huddle behind separate walls. I bring in wood, light the fire, put on pyjamas and Ugg boots, make hot chocolate, sit in the chair nearest the warmth, watch a rock concert. U2 in 83 on the cusp of fame. 22, 23, lithe and powerful. They sing Gloria and I Will Follow and Two Hearts Beat as One. It's splendid, surprising, vivid, surging, enthralling. It rocks, as always. And as always, I imagine you are with me. You're on the sofa to my right, your hair in a mess, your shirt hanging loose. Not analysing, theorising, evaluating, chuckling, sniggering or naming. Just rocking, just rocking. Later we can talk about people and politics, propaganda and projects. Later maybe we'll fuck, or maybe we don't fuck. Maybe it's not like that. I don't know. I don't know that that matters. But I do know that when the moment's right, you'll let me stroke your hands and you'll stroke mine, and that when we go out to hear a hot new band, you'll dance with me. But right now, we're just singing along, head banging, foot tapping, drinking hot chocolate. You might make me a banana split, or I might make one for you. The teenage fans dance in the rain, 3,000 or 4,000 without cell phones. Their hair is a mess, their jackets hang wetly, their eyes are full of rain. They walk through the mountains, through the rain. Will you dance with me? In his Dublin accent, Bono chooses a girl with a perm and too much makeup. She is the audience and the band and the viewer and the rain. He swings her up, whirls her around. The sun goes down on red rocks. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And do you feel loved? And in a little while, haven't been written yet. They sing Twilight and Surrender and I threw a brick through a window. As I imagine you are with me. As I imagine you are with me. Whoever you are.
My mum. So beautiful she is. So beautiful, my mum. Handing me her homegrown raspberries, slicing silver beet for dinner and rhubarb for dessert. So beautiful she is. So beautiful, my mum. Always something to say to make the day special. Now for a different side of her. Death metal screams. My mother had death metal screams. Used to wake me at 5 from my dreams to practice classical music. Rock and roll was given the flick, one note of it, and she would tear the sound barrier at its seams. Ah! Louder than a guitar lick, amped up. She threw a coffee cup at my sister for playing Purple Rain. It bounced off the wall as my sister said, "Grow a brain," and a chip got me in the cheek and, yep, had me listening to classical music until I was 18. When I finally gave it the kick and turned on black metal and Pink Floyd's The Wall and anything that blasted with an electric stick. Another thing that got death metal screams from Mum was the amount of pay or else bills she got from rogues and scum. She'd had an affair with a house painter called Bill, so that was even more reason to scream ill at those pieces of paper that demanded a sum. Those pieces of paper called bills. She looked one day at the walls and windowsills and thought, right, damn Bill, I'm going to get the sandblaster in to give this place some bling. And so all the paint was stripped to the gills. Then my mother could say, "See, Bill, house painting isn't necessary. I like the walls bare and natural." Didn't stop all the screaming, though, at all. My mother's death metal screams returned the day she got the sandblasting bill demanding her to pay. Ah! See, my mother had death metal screams. Used to wake me at 5 a.m. from my dreams to practice classical music while she was going off totally sick, like a heavy metal guitar lick amped up to extremes. She liked her chocolate, my mother, and decided to see a hypnotist to stop what she ate. After that, she didn't want it anymore. Instead, she wanted a chocolate Burmese cat to meow at the door. She rushed out and bought one and couldn't wait, despite everyone who said, "Don't get the chocolate cat, just eat another dairy milk melt and make yourself fat." See, my mother had death metal screams. Used to wake me at 5 a.m. from my dreams to practice classical music while she was going off totally sick, like a heavy metal guitar lick amped up to extremes.
It's the stale shit smell hanging under the perfume in the white-tiled shopping mall toilet. It's the bony old cat in the house of the chubby-faced students. It's the streak of smog above the blue and white beachfront. It's the distant siren. It's the one string that won't stay in tune. It's whoever grew old, then young, then died. It's the black edge around the heart we repeatedly draw. It's my one purple nail. It's my arms not reaching. It's going back out there. Songless. The shell at my ear whispers of screaming things, miniature life forms drowning in waste, and seals in oil slicks, and whales speared songless, and shells bleached silent on Laminex tables. I'm in the basement drinking with the street performers. The heavyweights are upstairs sampling postmodern canapes. If you weren't gone, would you be down here or up there? You'd be out walking in the night and I'd be with you. Waking on his narrow, temporary bed, surprised without his face, he looks at me with unshuttered tenderness. I make us breakfast and we each continue with our work. Soon he shall be out there somewhere chasing some fresh and pretty girl. He shall nuzzle into her mouth and mind, outgrow her, chase another, or be outgrown and left. And I will miss him in soma and aura, earth and space, satellites and colonies of duplicitous language, and occasional casual notes.
I'm going to do something very subversive and read a tiny morsel of prose. But it's we shall see. Okay, actually it's part of a memoir that I'm writing about sibling bereavement. So you only need to know that I came from a family that had 7 children, and we grew up in Western Australia, and my father was a primary school teacher and then a principal. Angels. Your face looks towards the camera, yet somehow beyond, as if it doesn't matter to you whether the camera is there or not. Your face is round, soft in contour, with that sharp little family chin. There's the suggestion of great granny's high cheekbones, of our father's determined jaw, but we will never know. Your face contains all the generations of our family, lit by the moment of being just yourself at 5 or 6 years old. Dee seems to be lifting her face towards the last rays of a rapidly setting sun, arms up in some private euphoric dance. Sal and Petra are buoyant, still living in the moment, ready to climb hills, explore caves, and carry a canoe a long way down a forbidden river. The photo of me is never good. I'm not myself. I'm self-conscious, looking squarely at the camera and beyond to our father. Dragons, dinosaurs. I dream of a shape-shifting monster, one moment a dragon, the next a dinosaur. In my dream, Dee and I are driving along the road to Bridgetown, looking into the horizon line. The sky is pink and pretty, the way it used to be, travelling in the late afternoon from our house to our grandmother Ivy's house or back. They used to be burning off around the countryside, and fires would darken the sky. In my dream, the burning phosphorescent monster dragon lights up the sky, hovering above the silhouette of a big house. Somehow we know this was our house once. The creature hovers, then appears to dive down the chimney. Dee yells, "It can't do that. It can't go all the way down. It's too big." It's poked its head down into a fireplace, Then we watch in disbelief as it falls into the house and the house collapses. What the mothers do, we wait for the infection to subside, for the temperature to go down, for the child to be safe again. In my 20s, I sat in the hospital once beside my sleeping daughter and waited, trying hard not to think about 20 years before, when my youngest sister went to hospital with an infection like this one and never came back. This is the affliction of our family, the throat that constricts, burns, blocks. I have a red, sore throat for years. What is it I cannot, will not say? There was, for the sisters left behind, no coffin, no rosary, no funeral, no priest, no grieving allowed, no last rites, no chants for goodbye. Hush, be quiet, don't cry. Glory be to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Et clamor meos et te veniat, and let my cry come to you, forever and ever. Amen. I used to check under the bed to see she wasn't hiding there. I used to run through the bush, thinking I could go around a corner and surprise her. We were not given the choice of going to the funeral. Over and over, my father said, "She doesn't suffer." And we were glad. I try to imagine exquisitely gentle fingers on her throat, soothing and healing. No coffin, no rosary, no goodbye. My mother stopped being a Catholic the day her youngest daughter died. "Bastard," she said, looking into the white-grey sky. And when I think about it now, I'm not sure whether she was talking about God or, in a rare lapse, about our father, who was going down to the local pub far too often. But we knew we were never to speak her name. Her photos disappeared. I couldn't imagine it anymore in that strange characteristic of shock that happens to the newly bereaved. The mind forgets the face for a time. The blue schoolhouse was tiny and old, dilapidated, the toilet and drains blocked up, the little ones had terrible colds, and our mother went off to the funeral in a horrible spotted yellow maternity smock. She didn't ever wear it again. I remember our father phoning the funeral home and the plumber. "We've lost a daughter," he said to both indiscriminately. That was the last time he mentioned it for 30 years.